The stars had always been quiet out here. The Outer Rim's trade hub, Valora Station, floated like a jewel in the void, humming with commerce and chatter from a dozen alien species. But today, something shattered the fragile calm. Sensors blinked. Yellow alarms echoed through the station's control center as the long-range scanners detected an anomaly, an enormous warship slipping out of hyperspace just beyond the system's edge. It was unlike anything Valora's technicians had ever seen. The ship was colossal, a leviathan of steel and light, its hull scarred by the ghosts of battles long past. It bore the unmistakable silhouette of a human warship, but no one in the Yao. Outer Rim had seen human vessels for centuries. Humanity had vanished after the Great Diaspora, scattered like seeds among the stars. And their technology? Rumors said it had evolved beyond comprehension. Contact unknown origin, the chief technician reported, voice tight. Massive energy signatures. Weapon systems. Active. Valora's governor, a slender, blue-skinned Krell named Shar'een, stared at the holoscreen. Can we identify it? Not fully, the technician replied. But the hull markings, human. The room went silent. Human ships were a legend whispered in the corridors of the Galactic Council. Stories of fierce warriors, unyielding will, and relentless expansion. Stories of wars where humans had fought to the death, never retreating, and stories of their disappearance, vanished centuries ago into the unknown, their fate a mystery. The arrival of this ship was a storm breaking across a quiet sea. Far above the station, the warship USS Dauntless drifted into orbit. Its massive engines dimmed and the ship's countless windows and gun ports glinted coldly under the distant star. From the command bridge, Commander Liana Vega watched the screens with icy calm. Status report, she ordered. Orbit stable. Scanners picking up multiple life signs on Valora Station, her tactical officer responded. No immediate threats detected. Vega nodded once, her expression unreadable. Prepare for initial broadcast. Let them know we're here. Below, in the council chambers of the Galactic capital, the news had already arrived. The emergency communication network buzzed as the message echoed through holovids and secure channels alike. This is the USS Dauntless. We have returned. Stand down, or be destroyed. The transmission cut abruptly, leaving behind a silence heavier than any threat. Council members exchanged nervous glances. Representatives from the many species, diplomats, military leaders, and spies had gathered for what was supposed to be a routine session. Now fear gripped the chamber like a vice. Humans, hissed High Chancellor Rizal of the Orven Coalition. They're back. I thought they were extinct, whispered a young delegate from the Ixaron Republic. Extinct or not, Rezel said darkly, they never lost a war, and they never surrendered. Across the chamber, a shadowed figure stepped forward. It was Veshikar, a diplomat known for his insight and ruthlessness. We must prepare. This ship is just the beginning. Humanity's power has only grown. The council president raised her hand, calling for calm. We will send envoys. We seek to understand their intentions before drawing weapons. But beneath the polished words was a gnawing doubt. What if the humans were no longer interested in peace? Back on Valora Station, the citizens watched the skies with growing dread. Traders hurried to secure their goods. Security forces patrolled in tight formations. Rumors swirled. Was this the start of a new war? A crusade for lost colonies? Or something far worse? Commander Vega stood silently on the bridge of the Dauntless. Her crew moved efficiently, their faces set with grim determination. She tapped, a command sequence activating the ship's ancient but deadly railguns. They'll see we're serious, she murmured. A young ensign glanced nervously at the captain. Commander, do you think they understand what we want? Vega's eyes never left the viewport. They will, or they'll learn the hard way. Outside, the stars seemed to dim as the Dauntless loomed larger in the system's sky. The galaxy had heard the warning. A human warship was approaching, and the galaxy was about to burn. The galactic capital, Solara Prime, gleamed like a beacon at the heart of a sprawling empire of stars. Its towering spires and shimmering domes housed the fragile peacekeepers of the galaxy, a council sworn to maintain order across countless worlds and species. But today, the chamber that usually buzzed with diplomatic chatter was thick with dread. Counselors gathered beneath the massive holographic projection of the USS Dauntless. The warship's image rotated slowly in midair, its imposing bulk casting shadows over the gathered delegates. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some eyes burned with fear, others with suspicion. High Chancellor Rezel's voice cut through the noise. This ship is a specter from a darker age. Humanity was feared for their relentless drive, their brutal wars, and their merciless tactics. Now they return with power we barely comprehend. The Krell delegate Shireen, still shaken from her encounter near Valora, stepped forward. Our scouts report their weapon systems operate on principles unknown to us. Their energy output surpasses our most advanced warships by orders of magnitude. Veshikar, the shadowed diplomat, raised a hand. We must not underestimate them. They hold technology that could raise entire worlds in moments. I recommend immediate military mobilization. A chorus of agreement rose. Most factions favored preparing for war, but not all. From the back of the chamber, a voice rose. Calm, measured. It belonged to Ambassador Nira, a diplomatic envoy from the Zelthari, a species known for patience and strategy. Before we condemn humanity, we should attempt communication. The message they sent, though threatening, offers no details of intent. We risk plunging the galaxy into needless conflict if we act on fear alone. Her words were met with skepticism, but they planted a seed of hesitation. The council president, a tall, silver-skinned woman named Arissa, nodded. Ambassador Nira has a point. We will send an envoy ship to Dauntless. Peace talks must come first, if that is possible. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the council chambers, Veshikar whispered urgently into a secure comlink. Prepare. The intelligence teams. We need more information on human capabilities and weaknesses. This warship may be a spearhead, but what lies behind it? Thousands of light years away in the depths of the Dauntless, Commander Vega convened with her senior officers in the war room. The air was thick with anticipation. We've made contact, Vega reported. The galaxy is panicked but divided. Some want to negotiate, others want to fight. We need to exploit that division. Her second-in-command, Commander Rourke, grunted. They underestimate us. Their fleets are old, sluggish, reliant on outdated tactics. We'll crush them if they choose war. But we don't want to start a prolonged war, Vega said, her eyes sharp. Our goal is to reclaim what's ours, lost colonies, resources, and honor. But we must be ready for resistance. As plans were drawn, the Dauntless crew prepared for the inevitable. Engineers worked tirelessly, integrating alien tech scavenged from previous encounters. Weapon systems were tested and recalibrated. Pilots drilled simulated dogfights. Back in the council, tension escalated when intercepted communications revealed a secret. Humanity's warship was not alone. Classified intel suggested other human vessels had been sighted in nearby sectors. Moving with stealth and purpose, panic erupted. Are we facing an invasion? Cried the Ixaron delegate. Or a full-scale reclamation? Rezel replied grimly. Either way, our galaxy's balance is at stake. The council president raised a calming hand. We must act with reason. I authorize the envoy ship Celestial, Dawn, to depart immediately with a delegation led by Ambassador Nira. As the Celestial Dawn prepared for its mission, a hidden faction in the council quietly mobilized their own forces. Mercenaries, spies and assassins, ready to exploit the coming chaos. On Valora Station, the tension was palpable. Citizens clung to rumors and fears. Merchants shuttered their stalls. Security forces enforced curfews. And all eyes turned to the dark silhouette of the Dauntless hanging in orbit like a judgment. In a small, dimly lit bar, a young alien pilot named Jarek stared at the flickering holovid displaying the human ship. They say humans never lost a war, Jarek muttered to his companion. But what if this time they don't want peace? What if we're already too late? His companion, a veteran smuggler with cybernetic implants, shrugged. Then we fight, or die trying. As the envoy ship slipped into hyperspace toward the Dauntless, the galaxy held its breath. The verdict was clear. The arrival of the human warship had shattered illusions of peace. Whether through diplomacy or firepower, the galaxy's fate would soon be decided. And somewhere deep inside the Dauntless, Commander Vega prepared her next move, knowing full well that the galaxy was about to burn. The USS Dauntless hung in silent menace above Valora Station, its vast silhouette blotting out the stars. Inside the command bridge, the air was thick with tension, more than just the weight of their mission. Commander Liana Vega stood tall, eyes sharp as steel, her mind running through every scenario. "Status?" she asked without turning from the viewport. Commander Rourke, her second-in-command, glanced up from his console. "Envoy ship Celestial Dawn is inbound, traveling at AA. Sublight speed. No aggressive maneuvers so far, they're playing it cautious." Vega nodded, her jaw clenched. "Good. We'll give them a chance, but make no mistake, our patience has limits." Around her, the crew worked with practiced efficiency. Tactical. Teams calibrated targeting systems. Communications officers prepped channels. Every hand was ready. "Open a secure channel," Vega ordered. The ship's communications officer flicked a series of commands. The holographic display flickered, then stabilized into a live feed of the Celestial Dawn's bridge. Ambassador Naira appeared, a composed figure clad in the elegant robes of her people, eyes bright with cautious hope. "This is Commander Liana Vega of the USS Dauntless," Vega began, her voice cold but controlled. "We have returned to claim what is rightfully human. Your council's hesitation is noted, but understand this. Humanity will not be ignored or negotiated down." Naira held her ground, her calm demeanor unshaken. "Commander Vega, the galaxy is vast, and peace benefits all. We do not seek conflict. Can we not find a way to coexist?" Vega's eyes narrowed. "Peace is respect. You deny us that. You deny yourselves safety. Our colonies were stolen. Lands once human, now under alien control. We seek restitution." A murmur rippled through the Celestial Dawn's crew, visible behind Naira. The envoy wasn't prepared for such a blunt declaration. Naira's voice softened, but with resolve. "Perhaps there is a way to discuss terms, to prevent unnecessary bloodshed." Vega's hand hovered over the table, hovering near the big red button that could launch their most devastating weapons. "Talks can happen, but if your council refuses to yield, we will act. The galaxy will know the meaning of human resolve." The transmission ended, leaving both ships in heavy silence. On Solara Prime, news of the exchange ignited fierce debate. Some factions hailed Vega's words as a wake-up call, a chance for humanity to reclaim its place. Others saw only the threat of war. High Chancellor Rezel slammed his fist on the council dais. "They speak as conquerors. We cannot allow the galaxy to fall under human dominion again." Ambassador Naira stood to respond, voice steady. "The Dauntless is not bluffing. We must weigh our options carefully. War will bring devastation none of us can afford." As the council fractured, secret meetings took place behind closed doors. Mercenary groups were hired, espionage teams deployed. The galaxy prepared to split, either under human rule or in bloody rebellion. Back aboard the Dauntless, Vega summoned her senior officers to the war room. The holographic star map showed Valora Station, the approaching fleet, and key strategic points. "We're not just fighting for territory," Vega said. "We're fighting for survival, human survival. The colonies lost are the seeds of our future." Lieutenant Sora, the ship's intelligence officer, stepped forward. "Commander, we've intercepted alien communications. They plan to blockade supply lines and isolate us. They don't understand human tactics. We'll use that against them." Vega's eyes gleamed. "Good. Prepare fighter squadrons for rapid strike missions. We'll break their lines before they can organize." Her gaze settled on the map. "We hit hard and fast. Show them the price of underestimating humanity." On Valora Station, the mood darkened. Citizens whispered of war, their faces pale with fear. Merchants closed shop early. Security forces doubled patrols. In the shadows, a young alien pilot named Jarek met with his resistance cell. "They say the humans never lost a war," he said quietly. "But we've survived every invader so far. We will survive this one, too." His companion, a grizzled veteran named Trask, handed him a datapad. "Intel shows the humans are ruthless, but not invincible. We've got allies within the Council willing to help us." Jarek's eyes flashed with determination. "Then we fight." As the celestial dawn closed in on the Dauntless, Vega prepared her final message. A signal pulsed through the Galactic communication network. Humans return not as conquerors, but as reclaimers. Yield what is ours or face obliteration. This is your final warning. The galaxy trembled under the weight of her words. Commander Vega stared out at the swirling stars, feeling the power of the Dauntless beneath her feet. The Miadit galaxy had a choice: surrender to human will, or be consumed by the fire it would bring. She whispered to herself, "Let them choose wisely." The alien fleet, hastily assembled from fragmented militias and old warships, surged toward the USS Dauntless in a desperate attempt to blockade the massive human warship before it could reinforce its claim over Valora Station. Fleets that had never fought alongside each other now flew in uneasy formation, weapons humming and shields crackling. On the Dauntless bridge, Commander Liana Vega stood at the center, calm as a storm about to break. Her eyes flicked across tactical readouts, every movement measured. "Targeting systems locked," said Lieutenant Sora, her fingers dancing across the console. "Alien fleet mass 200 kilometers ahead. Energy readings spike. Ready to engage." Vega nodded, voice low but fierce. "Open fire." The first salvo from the Dauntless's railguns tore through the blackness. Long beams of concentrated energy streaked across space, cutting into the alien vanguard with surgical precision. Explosions bloomed as warships shattered, debris drifting in eerie silence. "Squadron 1, launch," Vega ordered. The hangar bays opened, unleashing sleek human fighters, lightning-fast interceptors designed for close combat and hit-and-run tactics. Their engines flared as they darted forward like deadly wasps. The alien pilots scrambled to respond, but their old ships were cumbersome, ill-prepared for the sudden, ruthless assault. Fighters from the Dauntless twisted and turned through enemy formations, unleashing volleys of plasma that ignited alien cruisers. "Enemy flagship at 90 degrees port," Rourke reported. "Shields failing." "Concentrate fire," Vega commanded. "We finish this quickly." A devastating blast struck the alien flagship, its hull rupturing. Panic rippled through the fleet. Ships began to break formation, some attempting to flee, others desperately firing back. But the humans pressed the advantage. In the chaos, Jarek, the young alien pilot from Valora, dodged plasma bolts and laser streams as he fought for his life. His fighter's shields flickered, alarms blaring. "They're everywhere," he muttered, grimacing as his ship took another hit. "This isn't a blockade. It's a slaughter." Behind him, the Resistance, cells on Valora scrambled to coordinate. Their hope rested on the alien fleet's ability to hold the line long enough for reinforcements, but now that hope flickered like a dying star. On the Dauntless bridge, Vega's voice was steady, almost cold. "Keep pressure. No mercy," as the battle raged. The human crew's efficiency became evident. Damage control teams patched breaches within minutes. Medical pods tended to wounded fighters even as they prepped for redeployment. Every member was part of the lethal machine that was the Dauntless. "Commander," Sora interrupted, voice tight. "Intercepted a distress call from Valora Station. They're requesting immediate evacuation." Vega's eyes narrowed. "We anticipated this. Activate the orbital bombardment protocol." Outside, massive gun turrets on the Dauntless pivoted toward Valora Station. The first shell slammed into the station's outer ring, obliterating key communication arrays and military installations in a brilliant flash. The station shuddered under the assault. Citizens fled in panic, alarms wailing. On the ground, Jarek watched the sky darken as more explosions rocked the station. "They're punishing the civilians," he hissed. "This isn't war, it's terror." Back on the Dauntless, Vega did not flinch. "Collateral damage is inevitable," she said flatly. "But Valora will fall, one way or another. It's better under human control than alien indecision." Her tactical officer gave a grim nod. Enemy resistance collapsing, remaining ships retreating. Vega allowed herself a brief smile, sharp and cold. "Send fighters to intercept. We cannot let them regroup." The remaining alien ships fled, breaking warp trails toward distant star systems. The Dauntless stood victorious, its railguns smoking, hangar bays emptying once more to recover fighters. Back on Valora, the aftermath was grim. Smoke rose from shattered domes. Fires burned unchecked. The once bustling station lay crippled, a symbol of the brutal arrival of humanity's wrath. In a hidden bunker, Jarek slumped against a console, bloodied, but alive. His eyes burned with defiance. "We may have lost this battle," he murmured to his companions. "But the war isn't over." Across the galaxy, the holovid recording of the battle went viral, showing the ruthless efficiency of the human fighters, their deadly railguns, and the unstoppable Dauntless. Fear spread like wildfire. Governments tightened control. Alliances strained, and whispers of resistance turned to declarations of war. On the Dauntless, Commander Vega stood alone on the observation deck, staring out at the stars. The galaxy had seen human fire, and now it knew what came next. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Let them remember this day, the day the galaxy learned humanity does not retreat and does not forgive." The shockwave of the Dauntless's assault on Valora Station rippled through the galaxy like a rising storm. News feeds across dozens of star systems showed the devastation. Once proud alien ships shattered like glass, a vital trade hub reduced to rubble. Fear turned quickly to fury. On the war-torn surface of Valora, Jarek limped through the smoky ruins of a marketplace, his pilot suit torn and scorched. Around him, survivors gathered in makeshift camps, nursing wounds and mourning lost loved ones. His jaw clenched. Defeat burned in his chest, but so did something fiercer. Resolve. "We can't wait for help," Jarek said, addressing a small group of resistance fighters. "If we do, humanity will sweep across the outer rim like a plague." His words stirred murmurs of agreement. "We fight. We sabotage. We strike where they least expect it. They may have a warship, but we have our home." Far away, in the glimmering spires of Solara Prime, the Galactic Council convened once more. The chambers were tense, voices sharp with urgency, high. Chancellor Riesel slammed a fist on the podium. "The Dauntless is a declaration of war. We must unite our fleets now." Ambassador Naira stood, her face pale but determined. "War will cost us all dearly, but if humanity seeks domination, we cannot stand idle." Across the room, representatives whispered about alliances, long-forgotten treaties dusted off, mercenary contracts activated, secret weapons deployed. The galaxy was arming itself for a conflict many hoped to avoid, but now accepted as inevitable. On board the Dauntless, Commander Vega held a strategy meeting. The bridge was filled with tension. Officers knew the galaxy was preparing to fight back. Lieutenant Sora presented the latest intel. "Alien fleets are rallying, forming coalitions. They're learning our tactics, adapting quickly." Commander Rourke slammed his fist on the table. "Then we show them what human innovation looks like. We strike first and strike hard." Vega's gaze was icy. "Our objective remains, reclaim our colonies. But we must be ruthless and precise, no distractions." Her voice dropped, cold and calculating. "Prepare for a campaign that will break their will." Meanwhile, deep in the shadowy corridors of the galactic capital, Veshikar, the Council's covert operative, coordinated a network of spies and saboteurs. He moved like a ghost through the underworld, securing intelligence on the Dauntless's weaknesses and sowing dissent among human sympathizers. Humanity's strength is their unity. Veshkar whispered to his lieutenant. We will shatter it from within. Back on Valora, Jarek's small band launched guerrilla strikes. Explosions rocked the outskirts of the station, communication hubs vanished in bursts of fire, supply lines severed. One night, under the pale light of Valora's distant star, Jarek looked up at the Dauntless hovering like a dark god above. They think this war is theirs to win, he said softly, but we fight for every breath we take, for our homes, for our future. In the depths of the Dauntless, Commander Vega studied the galactic map, plotting their next moves. The tides were shifting. The galaxy was no longer just fearful. It was angry and ready to resist. She touched a flickering hologram. Then let the tides turn, we will burn brighter. The galaxy was no longer watching passively. The brutal demonstration of the USS Dauntless's power had ignited a firestorm of resistance that now flickered in every dark corner and glittering cityscape alike. On Valora Station, the ruins were crawling with insurgents, small, determined cells coordinated by Jarek and his companions. The survivors moved like shadows, striking human supply convoys with precision strikes before disappearing into the labyrinthine undercity. Each hit was a spark, a reminder that humanity was not uncontested. Jarek crouched behind a broken wall, eyes scanning the horizon where the Dauntless loomed ominously in orbit. He wasn't naive. The warship's presence was a constant threat. But he'd learned one thing. Fear could be weaponized, and hope could ignite revolutions. We're gaining ground, he told his group in a hushed tone, but we can't win by brute force alone. We need allies inside. Meanwhile, on Solara Prime, the Galactic Council was a hive of tension. The uneasy alliance forged in fear was beginning to fray. Diplomacy has failed. High Chancellor Rezel declared to the Assembly. It's time to mobilize the full fleets. We will crush this human aggression. But voices rose in protest. Ambassador Nira stood, calm but resolute. We must seek alternatives. War is a path to ruin. For us all, I propose a covert mission to negotiate directly with Commander Vega. The room erupted in heated debate, but the seeds of division had been sown. Back on the Dauntless, Commander Vega paced the bridge, reviewing battle simulations. Reports from intelligence were grim. Alien factions were uniting. Resistance was growing fierce and sabotage was striking critical supply routes. We're fighting shadows, Vega said bitterly. Guerrilla fighters, spies, traitors. We must root them out before they destroy us from within. Lieutenant Sora activated a holomap, pinpointing recent sabotage incidents. Commander, we've traced disruptions to Valora's lower sectors. Resistance activity is increasing exponentially. Vega's eyes darkened. Then it's time to bring the fight to them. She called up a secure transmission. Deploy the hunters. Let them show these rebels what happens when you challenge humanity's will. The hunters were an elite special operations team, silent, lethal, and ruthless. They struck from the shadows, dismantling resistance cells with surgical precision. Their arrival on Valora was whispered about in terrified rumors, ghosts who left no survivors. Jarek felt their presence closing in. They're hunting us, he said grimly. But every strike they make only fuels the fire. One night, as the hunters raided a hidden base, Jarek led a desperate counterattack. Laser fire tore through the darkness. Explosions shook the underground tunnels. We won't give up, Jarek shouted, rallying his fighters. Not while the stars still shine. In the shadowed chambers of the galactic capital, Veshkar's web of spies tightened around the Dauntless. His agents infiltrated supply lines, gathering secrets to turn against the humans. Commander Vega's strength is in her ship, Veshkar mused to his lieutenant. If we can cripple the Dauntless, we can break their grip. He smiled coldly. The war may be won in space, but it will be lost in shadows. As Valora burned with silent rebellion and the galaxy edged closer to all-out war, Commander Vega stood on the Dauntless's observation deck. The stars seemed distant, cold witnesses to the unfolding storm. Her voice was steady, fierce. Let them come. The galaxy will learn that humanity's fire burns brightest in the darkest nights. And Somewhere hidden in the ruins of a shattered station, Jarek whispered his own vow. We will not fall, not now, not ever. The galaxy was no longer a calm expanse of stars and alliances. It had become a crucible, a furnace where the fate of countless worlds would be forged in fire. On the USS Dauntless, Commander Liana Vega's sharp eyes tracked every movement on the holographic battlefield. Reports of sabotage and insurgency had intensified, but so had the human resolve. Prepare the fleet, Vega ordered. We're taking the fight to them, beyond Valora. Lieutenant Sora's fingers flew across the console. We've pinpointed 3 major resistance strongholds, a mining colony on Korath, a research station on Zera, and the rebel command bunker on Orlin. Vega's lips tightened. We hit all 3 simultaneously. Send in the hunters for surgical strikes and deploy fighter squadrons to cut off any escape. The bridge hummed with tense energy as crews readied the ships. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the Council's divided factions scrambled to respond. While some factions clamored for peace talks, others mobilized vast armadas, eager to confront the humans before they grew stronger. Ambassador Naira found herself caught between these extremes. War benefits no one, she pleaded in secret meetings. But if conflict is inevitable, we must ensure it ends swiftly and with minimal loss. Her words found reluctant ears among some delegates who feared the growing chaos would consume them all. On Korath, the human fleet's arrival was swift and overwhelming. The once bustling mining colony transformed into a battlefield of fire and shadow. Human fighters streaked through the atmosphere, engaging rebel ships while ground teams secured vital installations. Commander Vega watched the feed from the Dauntless Bridge. Crush their supply lines, no quarter. In the chaos, Jarek led a desperate defense from the underground tunnels, rallying his fighters. Hold the lines. We can't let them take Korath. Despite fierce resistance, human technology and tactics proved decisive. The hunters moved with ruthless efficiency, dismantling rebel command posts and neutralizing threats. On Zera, the research station became a fortress of glass and steel. Its scientists and soldiers fought side by side, desperate to protect their work from human hands. But the Dauntless's fighters broke through orbital defenses, raining fire upon the station. Explosions shattered laboratories. Vital data cores were seized. In the midst of the destruction, a small group of scientists transmitted encrypted data to unknown recipients, seeds of hope for the Resistance's future. Orlin was the last and most dangerous target. The rebel command bunker was a maze of tunnels and fortified halls, a heart of the rebellion itself. Hunter teams infiltrated silently, engaging in brutal close-quarters combat. Jarek's band was caught off guard, fighting for every inch. In the chaos, Jarek and a small group managed a daring escape through a hidden passage, their spirits battered but unbroken. We survived to fight again, he vowed. Back on the Dauntless, Commander Vega allowed herself a moment of grim satisfaction. The tide turns, she said quietly. They will know the cost of defying humanity. But as reports came in, a new threat emerged. An unknown fleet of alien warships, sleek and fast, moving with stealth and precision toward Valora. Lieutenant Sora's face drained of color. Commander, unknown vessels detected. They're advancing. Quickly. Vega's eyes narrowed. Prepare for immediate engagement. We'll show them the price of interference. As the Dauntless and its fleet surged to meet this new challenge, the galaxy teetered on the edge of all-out war. In the shadows of the ruins on Valora, Jarek whispered to his companions, "This war is far from over. The crucible has only just begun." And somewhere deep in space, the unknown fleet closed in, carrying secrets that could change everything. The void of space erupted into chaos. The unknown alien fleet appeared like a phantom storm, sleek warships cutting through the darkness with eerie precision. Their arrival caught both the USS Dauntless and the Allied fleets off guard. Commander Liana Vega's sharp mind raced to assess the threat. Unknown vessels, bearing no diplomatic markings, Lieutenant Sora reported, fingers flying over the console. Their weaponry is unlike anything we've encountered. Plasma arrays and quantum disruptors. They're fast, maneuverable, and coordinated. Vega's jaw clenched. Battle stations, Prepare for full engagement. We cannot allow them to hold Valora, or the entire outer rim is lost. In the blistering vacuum of space, the battle ignited with brutal ferocity. The Dauntless's railguns blazed, piercing the alien shields and tearing through hulls. Human fighters darted between the enemy vessels, engaging in dogfights that twisted through the starry blackness. But the unknown fleet struck with calculated ruthlessness. Quantum disruptors flashed, disabling human systems. Plasma blasts tore through fighter wings and capital ships alike. Damage report, Vega demanded. Shields weakening on the port side. Fighters down 50%. Rourke replied, voice tense. Vega's eyes burned with fierce determination. Hold the line. We will not falter. Back on Valora's battered surface, Jarek watched the space battle through battered holoscreens. Despite the damage already inflicted by the Dauntless, the arrival of these mysterious reinforcements sparked new hope for the rebels. They're not alone, Jarek whispered. This war is bigger than we thought. He turned to his resistance fighters. Prepare for a new phase. The galaxy itself is about to ignite. In the heart of the Dauntless, Vega fought to maintain control. Damage control teams scrambled to repair breaches. Medical pods tended the wounded. The crew's spirit remained unbroken despite the odds. Commander, new intel, Lieutenant Sora said, breathless. The alien fleet's command ship has deployed a massive weapon, targeting Valora Station's orbit. Vega's eyes narrowed. We need to neutralize it, now. With grim resolve, she authorized a strike team led by the Hunters to infiltrate the command ship and disable the weapon from within. The Hunters' mission was perilous. Boarding the alien command ship, they navigated twisted corridors filled with hostile sentries and deadly traps. Explosions rocked the vessel as they fought deeper into the enemy stronghold. Inside the weapon chamber, Captain Rylan, the Hunters' leader, initiated the sabotage sequence. Alarms blared. Security forces surged. Almost there. Hold the line. Rylan shouted. With a final pulse, the weapon overloaded and detonated internally, ripping through the alien ship's core. The command vessel exploded spectacularly, sending a shock wave through the enemy fleet. The tide of battle shifted. Freed from the command ship's massive weapon, the Dauntless and its fleet pressed the assault. Alien warships fell under relentless fire, their formations breaking apart. In orbit, Valora Station survived, but just barely. Fires raged, systems sputtered, but the station remained intact. In the aftermath, Commander Vega addressed her crew. The galaxy saw our strength, she said, voice ringing with pride and warning. But the war is far from over. We've lit a fire that will burn through every star system. Meanwhile, Jarek and the rebels gathered amid the ruins. This victory is ours, for now, he said. But the fight continues. Humanity will not stop until they control every corner of the galaxy. He looked to the distant stars, eyes burning with fierce hope. Then we'll be ready, for the galaxy is about to burn. The war for the stars had only just begun, and neither side would yield. The Dauntless stood as a blazing beacon of human will, unrelenting, unstoppable, and the galaxy braced for the inferno to come.